Hey guys, happy Sunday and happy Father's Day to those of you who are fathers. I hope you get spoiled today by your wives, by your girlfriends, by your partners, by your kids. Um, Overall, I just want you to have a great Father's Day, and I believe that fathers and mothers and everybody should be celebrated every day. So I feel like I I hope that you feel lots of love today. Anyway, so what I want to talk to you guys today is about mindfulness and how we can practice mindfulness anywhere, even in a meeting, even if you're running a marathon, even if you're cooking, washing the dishes, literally when you're doing anything and anywhere, you can practice that mindfulness to reduce stress, to eliminate anxiety, as well as to really up your game in productivity. Because when we're too preoccupied with anxiety and too preoccupied with stress, what we end up doing is we start ruminating, you know, all the things we need to do. Oh man, my deadline is coming up. What if I don't meet my deadline? And with that brain power, we can use to actually gear towards productivity rather than just being so stressed out and feeling so anxious with all those negative thoughts circulating in our minds. So essentially what mindfulness is tuning into our present moment rather than feeling and thinking about the future. Rather than doing that, we're tuning into the present moment, really focusing on exactly what we're doing. So one thing you can do is that is very, very easy, and you can literally do again anywhere and during any event, anything, is tuning into your breath. That's why when people meditate, they tune into their breath, because that's something that brings them back to the present moment. But if you're like, I really don't want to tune into my breath because that's not something I want to do, then that's totally fine. Tuning into our breath is one of the easiest things to do. And that's why a lot of teachers tend to recommend tuning into the breath. And also because when you're breathing properly, if you adapt some of the breathing techniques, it's such an effective way to reduce anxiety and reduce stress. And that is one of the first things that I teach my clients when they experience stress. And that's one of the first things that we do in our first week is breathing exercise. And I can guarantee you that 99.9% of my clients find breathing techniques very, very effective when it comes to reducing stress. And even for those who have panic attacks, breathing techniques are very, very effective. So give that a try and see, maybe you've never even tuned into your breath before. So give that a try and see if that's something that helps you. So if, let's say, you're like, breath, I don't want to have anything to do with it, then let's tune into our physical body. So with a lot of us, mindfulness comes as a form of, again, paying attention to the present moment. When we feel a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress in the body, we feel that mind-body connection. So for some people is mind and then body. So you form a thought. Let's say I'm anxious. You give a label to your emotion. You give a label to what you're thinking about, or let's say what you're going through. I am stressed out right now. So come with that stress the moment you think, okay, I can't snap, so I'm not going to snap. The moment you're like, I'm stressed out. And then automatically your body start forming these physiological responses that are what you know as stress responses. So for example, that knot in the stomach and your throat feeling, closing up, where you start getting shaky. Those things are associated with the thought of being stressed. The more you're thinking, I am stressed, I can't believe I'm so stressed out right now, or stressed right now, and you start, going more and more into that stress response until you find a way to get out of it. Or the other way could be that, you're feeling so stressed in the body and your brain is thinking, okay, so usually when I'm stressed, this is what I feel. My stomach, my throat, the shakiness or the sweat, whatever it is. And now it's giving it a label. Okay, I'm stressed because I'm having these physiological responses. So it really depends. For some people, it's almost like a chicken and egg question, is which one comes first. So what you can do is really tune into that and learning what your stress response is initially. So the initial phase is really understanding what it is, like what your stress response is. For me, is that we're not in the stomach, and then also I can literally feel my throat closing up, not to the point where I have a trouble breathing or anything, but I can feel my throat closing up. I have a hard time breathing. I really need to calm my breath down. So instead of hyperventilating, I do my deep breathing. Again, that's where the breathing technique comes in. And also I get really sweaty palms, and sometimes I shake, but they're very minor shakes. And those are the things that you begin to notice. And once you start noticing, you can address them. So instead of saying, okay, I'm really stressed, now you're gonna, either you start breathing, either you start meditating, either you go out for a walk, whatever it is that helps you soothe that stress response. Because essentially what the stress response is to gear us and get us ready to run away from a lion or, whatever large predator there is running behind us. But we don't have, our current situation is never in danger. What a lot of modern people do is we're always thinking in the future. We're always thinking, what if we don't get that raise? What if we can't, what if our relationship doesn't work out the way we want it to? What if we can't put food on the table tomorrow? Those are, all legit, very, very practical concerns. But at the same time is, if we just continue down the path of what we're doing right now, are we going to be able to solve whatever problem is in the future? If yes, great. If no, then how can we change our behavior and change our thought into reaching that goal that we're, solve that problem? So rather than going into a state of anxiety and a state of stress, focusing on our present moment, what can I do right now to get myself towards that goal, to get myself to solve that problem? Because stress really doesn't do us good, other than running away and get our muscles pumped up and ready to run. It really is pretty counterproductive when it comes to solving our modern stress. And so what you can do is, and I get people to do this, is to focus on the body, focus on your senses. Instead of focusing on the breath, and you're like, breath, screw that, I don't want to breathe. I don't want to focus on my breath. What you can do is close your eyes really quickly. And because when we close our eyes, we avoid seeing all these stimuli around us. Even though nothing's really moving, it's still very stimulating. We see a couch, we see, a TV, we see all these things, and they're objects that basically have meaning to us. If you close your eyes, it's just a blank slate that you can form with anything you like. So when you close your eyes, notice what, I know you can't really see anything, but notice the faintest thing you can see, or the faintest light you can see. And then notice the most prominent light you can see. So, for me right now is I can see this light in this corner right here. It's a little bit dark, it's a little bit bright, and then there's these faint sparkles on the left side of the left corner of my eyes. So noticing these little things, and that really puts you in the present moment. Even though it sounds really silly, they really put you in the present moment, get you to focus on these little things rather than thinking of, oh my gosh, I gotta pay my bills tomorrow, like things like that. It's just a little moment to yourself. So after you're done with the sight, go into, your nose, and still keep your eyes closed. So now my sense of smell. What can I smell that is the most prominent right now? So right now I really can't smell anything, to be honest with you. So, your house might have an odor. And a lot of us don't notice that because we're always in our house. We don't notice it. But then, when other people come over, they're like, oh yeah, your house has this like really unique smell. And that's the thing that we don't really notice because we're so used to it. And that's kind of like everything that's going on in our life, because we can't really see it from a third person perspective because we're always in that situation. So when you close your eyes and really try to smell, and I smell this faint lavender scents right now. I have this spray at home. I think that's where it is. It's this faint lavender smell, and I can also smell my face cream right now as well. So, smell the most prominent thing you can smell and really tune in and smell the faintest of smells that you can sense. So, keeping your eyes closed through this whole entire process, go from the eyes, so the sight, and then go into the smell. The next one is taste. So, what can you taste on your tongue right now? The most prominent and the faintest. I haven't had anything this morning. I brushed my teeth, so I can a really strong peppermint taste on my tongue, so that's the most prominent. And I did have a little bit of coffee, so I can taste that coffee on my tongue right now. So, really tuning in, and these are the things that we don't normally think about on a daily basis. So, think about that, feel it, and get yourself to come into the present moment and really do that. The next one is hearing. So what do you hear that is the most prominent? For me, my AC is running right now, so it's kind of, buzzing in the background. And then I can also hear some water dripping in the kitchen right now. So, really tune in and listen to those things. And the last one is touch. If you're lying down, if you're sitting, feel like, just feel what you can feel right now. Even if you can do a body scan, if you know what that is, do it, a really thorough or a quick body scan, whatever you like. My fingertips feel very cold right now, which I did not notice before, I came to feel my touch, which is my fifth sense. And my left foot is feeling a little bit numb because it's been under my right foot for a little bit. Little things like that. So this is when, let's say you're in a meeting. When you're in a meeting, you don't have to close your eyes, but it's something for you to really tune into the present moment. If you're doing your dishes, you can do that as well, right? Like you really think about, oh wow, like this is what I'm smelling. This is the sense of my dish detergent. This is what the bubbles feel like on my hands. And be very present with yourself. If you're running, then great, focus on your breath. If you're a runner, if you're getting into running, breath is one of the things that really drives running, and that is one of the things that you really have to focus on in order for you to run really well. Obviously, feel how the sole of your feet feel, and feel how the sun or the rain or whatever it is feel on your skin, and just allowing your body, your physical body, to be an antenna for between you and the outside world, because our body is essentially a shield between our mind and our soul and the outside world. It's how we interact with the world, and being able to be more mindful and staying in the present moment allows us to feel a little bit more relaxed, because right now, let's say I am stressed right now about, let's say, for example, I'm waiting for this job interview or for this job to come back to me to let me know if I got it or not. I might be super anxious right now because I'm waiting for the results, but right now there is no danger. Even if I didn't get the job, I don't have a lion chasing after me. And for me to feel stressed, it's pretty useless for me to feel stressed right now, because my whatever power they hold over me, I literally have no control over. So there's a lot of our stress and anxiety is pretty irrational. Is our body and our mind trying to protect us from an evolutionary perspective? If you like to think about the lions and the tigers and all that stuff. So again, if you're in a static position, close your eyes, go into your senses. Feel the most prominent and the faintest of what you can feel in your senses. So sight, smell, taste, hearing, as well as touch. Okay. And then if you're doing something else, let's say washing dishes, let's say cleaning your house, let's say, even playing with your kids. Because a lot of times when we're playing with our kids, we kind of tune out. It's like, oh, I gotta do this meeting tomorrow. or I got to do this tomorrow, and then we start getting anxious because, by the way, the Sunday anxiety, going to that working week, is actually a legit thing. A lot of people experience that Sunday anxiety because of all the things that they know they have to do in the coming week. So how do you focus on your present moment? How do you be more mindful with your present moment to take advantage of your weekend? Because when we start feeling anxious on Sunday afternoon about our, whatever is coming next week, we're pretty much losing half a day of our weekend. And that's kind of going towards our working week the next week. So how do you maximize your that half a day on Sunday afternoon? How do you be more mindful when you play with your kids? Feel like what their toys feel like. If they have a plush toy, what does the fabric feel like? If they have, hard toys like plastic or metal or whatever it is, feel what the surface feels like. So a lot of the times we're physically there, but mentally and, we're not really there. We're always thinking about other things. And if we're hitting a goal, let's say, today you're saying, today, my job, because for a lot of people is we're so focused on the future that we don't even celebrate our present. So for example, that job example that I was saying, let's say I get a call today and I'm like, oh my God, I got the job. I am so excited. I'm pumped to start this job. And then this thought kicks in. It's like, oh my gosh, you're going to have to learn all these new things. You're going to have to, you're going to have to adapt. You're going to have to meet these new people. You're going to have to do this. You're going to have to do that. And then my anxiety starts to build again. It's like, oh my gosh, now I have all these things to do. And I have all these things that I have to learn. And that anxiety just never leaves us alone. Because, we're always thinking in the future. But how do you reverse that and, think more in the present? If you have to celebrate something, go nuts, go celebrate and have an amazing time and really take advantage of, your positive mood and your positive, and whatever you're thinking that is positive, really live in that moment rather than saying like, oh my gosh, I have to do all these things now. Okay, this is done, moving on to the next one. Because a lot of us do that. We jump from one to the other, to the other, to the other. Is that dopamine in our brain who's like always, okay, what is the future? What's the next exciting thing? We're always trying to stay on our toes. Mindfulness, focusing more on the present, is not, you don't have to believe in you don't have to be following Buddhism. You don't have to do any of that. You don't even have to meditate to tune into yourself to be more mindful. Because essentially it is a daily practice, just like you eat food every day. Is something that is nourishing for us. You can choose to eat good food or bad food. And mindfulness is more of like, do you choose to be, future focused, or do you choose to be present focused? I hope that was helpful. If you do have any questions, if you want more tips, please let me know. Shoot me a message or comment on this video. I'm always happy to chat and always happy to respond to your messages. All right, guys, have an amazing day. Again, to all the fathers out there in the world, have an amazing Father's Day, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Have a great day. Bye.